Mr. Mayor.
How are you?
Good, thank you. So 2 questions. The first one is going to be a winding question, so if you could just hang in with me for a second.
Yes.
So, Arthur Idella had said earlier today that the Justice Department has been politicized. I know you've said that in the past as well. Do you feel like President-elect Donald Trump is going to change the justice system? Do you think he will make it less political when he takes office? And then just quickly, a second question for you. Tom Homan allegedly told the New York Post that you've done a 180 on your stance on the migrant issue. So just wondering if that's a fair assessment of where you're at with the migrant issue, especially with sanctuary laws, or do you feel like you've been pretty consistent?
Yeah, first of all, I think that what President-elect Trump has gone through is allowing him to see that if the Justice Department is doing what President Biden stated, such as it's being politicized, I believe he owed it to Americans to make sure that's not the case. I think that is very important, and I believe that knowing his experience with the Justice Department, knowing President Biden's experience with the Justice Department, knowing my experience, knowing other Americans' experience, and I really request that you folks look at some of these experiences. And there was some cases out there that I read that really you should look into this. Justice is important to this country. And the right of liberty and the pursuit of happiness, I think we need to make sure that every avenue is done that is not politicized in any way. And I'm hoping that he does an analysis of that based on his experience, based on President Biden's experience, based on my experience, and based on other experiences. Your second question was?
Tom Homan told the New York Post.
Yeah. What I think is happening, which is interesting, that people are finally starting to hear me. Because those of you who have covered me for the last 2 years on this issue, you've heard me say this over and over again. And sometimes the message gets skewed, but now people are starting to get in the room and they're sitting down and they're hearing me. And so I had a great conversation with the Border Czar in the area of public safety. We are aligned on we have to deal with those who are committing, serious violent acts. And our legal team is going to meet with his legal team, and we're going to accomplish that goal. No one should be the victim of a crime from anyone in general, but specifically for those who come to the country and get in the way of other migrants, other New Yorkers, other immigrants, documented or undocumented, pursuing the American dream. And I've said this over and over again, and I'm surprised that many of you are even saying, well, okay, Eric, you sound differently. No, go back and look at the tapes. I talked about this over and over again. People have a right to be safe in this city, and those who commit these crimes are violating that right. And again, I gave you the example. That young girl that was murdered, raped, and killed, the person was here in this city. That could have been any of our daughters. That could have been any of our daughters. And we should not wait until we have a personal tragedy before we realize that, as the American people have communicated, our border is a problem. We need to secure our border, and we need to make sure dangerous people are not placed on our streets.
Liz. Mr. Mayor.
How are you?